Hi there, and thank you for tuning in to The Social Circus, where every week we dive into a variety of topics covering social media, mindset, and how to run your business. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. Hello, my lovely listeners, and welcome to episode 113 of The Social Circus. I'm your host each and every week, Sarah Thompson, and today it's a solo episode with just me. We're going to be talking about running competitions specifically on Instagram. Now, the reason I've chosen this topic is because I see so many people trying to do different things to get attention, get engagement, get more followers. And competitions are one of the simplest ways to do this. But there are a few tricks to doing it well as opposed to doing it poorly, I guess is the reverse of that. So let's start by talking about the different platforms and why I've specifically chosen Instagram. One of the things I wanted to say is that Instagram is a little bit like the Wild West still. You can still run competitions with very few restrictions from Meta. It is really simple to set them up. It's really easy to manage them and to draw them, all of those kind of things. So if you are thinking about running a competition across Facebook and Instagram, one of the things that I do want you to be aware of is that on Facebook, if you run a competition on your business Facebook page, not on your personal profile, on your business Facebook page, it is against Facebook's guidelines, so it is a breach of them. You cannot, as a condition of entry, require someone to like your page to share a post. Now, those are, in days gone by, some of the most common things we saw people do is you had to like their page, you had to share it to your profile. Now, the guidelines specifically prohibit you from running that as a competition. Now, I know that you're listening thinking, I see people do that all the time. The problem with that is if you choose to run your competition like that, it just takes one nasty person to report your page and Meta is well within its rights to completely shut it down. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. So from my perspective, I think it's always a good idea to be compliant with the platform's guidelines. And yes, we do see other people do those things, but that doesn't mean that we should do them. So today I'm going to talk about Instagram because I think it is one of the platforms where we can most easily facilitate a competition and probably get the most results for our profile as well. Yes, it is still a Meta platform. Yes, there are still guidelines, but the guidelines are very few and far between. As I said, it's a bit like the Wild West. So one of the things you want to be aware of is that you do need to have a little disclaimer, and it doesn't need to be these exact words. It should say something like, this competition is not endorsed by Meta and its affiliates in any way. It's an independent competition. If you're not sure on the words, ask ChatGPT to write them for you. It is just a little disclaimer that you have to have. So keep it really simple. That's your only requirement that you need to have. One of the other things I want you to think about is how many people do you currently have following your profile on Instagram? Because one of the reasons we run competitions is to grow our following. So what I would always encourage you to do is to use a simple spreadsheet, write it down on a piece of paper. Whenever you are doing any type of marketing, I want you to be aware that you must track, measure, and analyze what you have done. Otherwise, it is a complete waste of your effort. If this is something that didn't work for your business, then why would you want to run it again? And if you don't know if it worked or not, then you're running blind. So in marketing, I am always a big fan of doing analysis, of tracking and measuring. So before you start a competition on your Instagram profile, I would like you to do as a minimum, see how many followers you have. And I would also like you to look at the last few posts and have a look at what your engagement is, okay? So you go to the insights on the post and have a look at those numbers. It's up to you. You can go to Meta Business Suite and dive in a little bit more. But you should be tracking these numbers as a minimum anyway, because it's good to know if your page is growing, if you're getting more followers, all of that kind of information. It's all about the health of our social profile and how well we're interacting with our audience. So have a look at those measures to start with and see how you are traveling before we get started. Now, I have been in marketing for a long, long time. Actually, last century was when I started my marketing career. So it is a long, long time. And here's the thing that has definitely changed. So I used to work in what's called FMCG, or fast-moving consumer goods, which is pretty much everything you see in your supermarket. And the marketing for those was really fun because we had lots of money to spend. We used to run competitions for 3 months or 12 weeks. Now, that sounds like a long time. Throughout that 12 weeks, we would get consistent entries. We would get consistent people picking up the entry forms in the supermarket, mailing them into our handling house. And we would typically get like a couple of 100,000 entries. And in Australia, with a small population, that's a really good result. So the attention span of people was quite long in those days. I'm talking like 20 years ago. People would come into their supermarket each week. They would remember the competition. We would have ads, those kind of things. Those days are gone. They are over. So what I want you to understand is that on social media, people's attention span is a nanosecond. We know that people are really inattentive. We know that people don't keep coming and engaging with it. So my advice to you would be to run a competition between 7 and 14 days, no longer, okay? Because it's really hard to maintain that energy and that engagement with your audience because they only have a limited attention span. So remember, the duration of your competition is 7 to 14 days. Now, with competitions, you can run them simply to get more followers. That is absolutely fine if that's a strategy. But what I would recommend that you do is run them to create some momentum around something that you are promoting in your business at the time. So we often see competitions around Christmas, Black Friday, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, those kind of big ticket retail shopping days, let's call them. And that's a great idea because it does engage your audience in the lead up to a promotion. So if you are doing something like a launch or you're coming up to a big promotion in your business, a competition prior to that is a really good way to warm up your audience, to improve your engagement and your interactions, and to help you kind of get the excitement and energy behind that. So if you're thinking of running one, do try and coincide it with something in your business that you're working towards. It really makes it a whole lot more simple and much more effective. Now, one of the things that we have known to be true for a long time is that we want to give away a prize that our audience is excited to win. Now, with that in mind, I want you to think about what would your audience like to win. Now, this is where I see things done incredibly poorly. And I want to share with you an example. In my work history, I've worked for a coffee franchise. I was the marketing manager for a coffee franchise here in Australia. And when I first started, we had a new store opening. And so I sort of was jumping on the tail end of the marketing strategy. It was very much set in place. And our agency, we had a marketing agency, and they presented to us that the competition they wanted to run was to give away a coffee machine, and the new coffee shop was going to be surrounded by a lot of offices and office blocks. And they said, we're going to give away a coffee machine and a year's supply of free coffee. And I sat in the meeting and I had this moment of thinking, am I being punked right now? Like, are they genuinely saying we're going to give away a coffee machine and a free year's worth of coffee when we are a coffee shop? And I sat there and I just said, so what you're saying is we're going to take a whole bunch of office people out of the market to buy takeaway coffees for 12 months. Is that the idea behind it? And I said, I just feel like that's possibly the stupidest idea I've ever heard. And I just laid it out there. Because why would you give away something that would take your audience out of your business for a long time? And not only that, but they convert them to having a coffee machine in their office forever when you're a coffee shop that's main business is takeaway coffees. The reason I wanted to share that example with you is because as small business owners, we are our own marketing manager by and large. And I want you to know that that doesn't mean that you're going to do things badly because you are the business owner. You don't have a marketing agency to help you. Marketing agencies still get things wrong and they still come up with rubbish ideas that simply do not fly. But here's what I want you to think about. That was a bad example. Let me give you the worst example of a prize that you can give. The worst thing you can give, now for those of you not in Australia, apologies, the Crown Resorts here are a chain that is a chain of casinos and hotels, beautiful experience. You can go and stay in the resort and they have everything there. The worst prize you can give as a competition is like a weekend for two at the Crown or a $500 Crown voucher, something like that. Now you're sitting there thinking, well, I would love to win that. And the truth of it is everyone would love to win that. It is a great competition and is a great prize. What's wrong with it is it does not attract people who are your ideal customer that want to buy from you to follow your profile, okay? It is a generic prize that will attract everybody. It makes no sense to do that. And I want to give a shout out to all you real estate agents because I get that you're in a very competitive space and that your marketing is really hectic. But here's the thing. I see real estate agents running these kind of rubbish competitions all the time. And I just think you're attracting everyone to your business. Who cares if I like your page if A, I'm not a homeowner or I'm never going to be a homeowner or I'm not selling my home. They are not your ideal customer. I don't know why they don't give away a $500 removalist voucher because if I'm buying or selling a home, the first thing I'm going to have to do is move. So all of those things that are aligned with that make really good sense, okay? So if you're sitting there and you're thinking, well, I don't know what to give as a prize, I've got some great ideas for you, so don't panic. The best thing you can give as a prize is something that you want to sell in your business. So right now in my business, I'm in the middle of a launch for my course called Sell with Socials. That is a live round that starts in early August, and I want people to buy that course. And so I'm going to run a competition on my socials. So if you head over to my socials today, I'll be running a competition for you to win a free spot in my Sell with Socials course. Now, some of you listening are going, oh my gosh, I would love to do that. I'm so going to go and enter it. And others of you are going, I have no desire to do that. I'm not going to enter the competition. Now, you can see how I have weeded out the people who have no interest in that thing that I am selling, okay? So I want you to have a think about what is it that you want to sell in your business and how can you get people who are interested in buying that to enter your competition? Now, the truth of it is, as a product-based business, if that is you, I will enter competitions and I'm probably not interested in winning because I'll give the prize to someone if I won. Okay, so product-based business is not as simple and straightforward. Whereas our service-based businesses, if I was giving away like a VIP day coaching with me or one of my online courses, the only people that are going to enter that competition are the people that are interested in actually participating in that course or that coaching or that service. So for you as a service-based business, it's really simple to put together a competition where the grand prize is to win blah with me, okay? So if that is you, you have the answer sitting right in front of you. Make it really simple and make it really generous. So I've given away multiple VIP days, and I want to say this to you all, it has been incredibly successful because all of those people have gone on to buy more VIP days with me because they love the experience so much. So if you know you deliver great results, you're great at what it is that you do, which hopefully you all are, do not be afraid to give away your product or service because usually those people will turn into paying clients. So don't think of it as like, well, I lose that paid client. Never think of it like that as a terrible scarcity mindset. Think of it like, this is an opportunity for me to give someone who hasn't experienced me before exposure to my business. Okay, so don't be afraid of that. Now, with competitions, I really hate seeing competitions that only offer a discount or a percentage off. That feels horrible, okay? The first prize gets $100 off my VIP day. Bully for you. That is not an exciting prize. That is not a good way to incentivize people. Be generous and give something away for free, okay? Like if you're a service-based business, we can all afford to give away our services for free as a competition. So don't be mean, don't be stingy and say it's $500 off or it's a 10% discount. Don't be mean and frugal. That is not how you want to portray yourself in your business. You know, when I give away a VIP day, that's a $2,000 prize. That is super motivating. So have a think about what you can put together that would be very generous, that will attract people to your business who are interested in your products or services, okay? One of the other things that I do as a little hot tip is that I tend to give away 2 prizes. And the reason for this is really simple. When I'm running a competition, my strategy is normally twofold. One, it's to attract people to my business who are interested in that product or service. And 2, it is to grow my following. So what I tend to ask people to do is I ask them to tag a friend who they would like to win. And I usually give away 2, so them and the friend win the prize, okay? So then it's incredibly generous and very motivating. And again, I'm likely to get 2 new customers from that instead of just 1, because getting people to tag a friend in your competition post and then that friend has to follow your profile as well is going to grow your following, and you're going to have 2 new people try your product or service and love you and rave about you. Okay, so don't be afraid of doing something like that. I think, again, it's really generous. It reflects really well on your business. And from a friendship point of view, if someone tags me in something and I'm like, well, she's going to win because she tagged me, what do I get? And if the answer is nothing, then I'm not very excited. Whereas if we both win, that feels really, really generous, really exciting. And I'm probably really motivated to tag some of my friends as well. So I want you to think about that. Again, if your business can facilitate that, then go for it, okay? These are really exciting ideas that will bring new people into your world. And what we really want to do is bring more people into our space. So in terms of running your competition, one of the things I want to talk about before I talk about the mechanics of it is doing collaborations with other businesses. Now, I see this done all the time where people they maybe have a small business and they think, I can't afford to give away a $5,000 or a $10,000 prize. And that is absolutely fine, particularly if you're a product-based business, unless one product is like $2,000. It's really hard to give it away as a prize. So what I want you to think about is, if you are collaborating, please do not collaborate with more than 4 or 5 other businesses. I have seen amazing competitions on Instagram where I really would love to win that prize. And after I have gone and followed 6 or 7 profiles, I have lost the will to live. And I simply stop going through the process of what is required to enter a competition. So remember, as users of social media platform, our experience is often indicative of what our audience will think about. So if I found that mind-numbing and I just could not be bothered, a lot of your audience are going to do the same. Now, I saw a competition last week and I actually wrote on them, your competition is too difficult to enter. So I had to like their profile, tag a friend, and after I had done that, I had to go over to their profile, go to their website and enter their competition there. And it was quite a big company, I wanted to say that as well, who had like probably 200,000 followers. They had 18 entries. And that says it all. And it was a sponsored post that I saw it on. So they were obviously paying to put it in front of people. And I thought, you guys have done an appalling job of your marketing because nobody wants to enter this because it's too hard. You've made it too hard. Remember, people are already distracted. They have a limited attention span and they're only going to do so many things for you. So that brings me to talking about mechanics. So if you get asked to enter a big competition where there's collaborating with 20 other Insta profiles, I probably wouldn't bother, if I'm really, really honest, because we know that that's too hard for people. You're better to collaborate with 1 or 2 people you have a really good synergy with than trying to make it bigger than Ben-Hur, and people just cannot be bothered. It's going to have a really diminishing returns kind of effect. So think about that. Now, in terms of the mechanics of running a competition, simple wins every time. So create a single post and pin that post to your profile. So it's really easy for people to find, okay? Once you have created that post, you must make sure you put on that post, what is the prize? When will the prize be drawn? And what is the condition, how do I enter? So the entering is they should like your profile. They should tag a friend. Their friend has to like your profile, okay? Those are really simple steps to do, okay? The next thing you want to do is offer them a bonus if they share it to their story. So sharing to stories then gives them a bonus entry. Now, from your perspective as a small business, it does take a little bit of admin to do this and to manage this. And again, I tend to run spreadsheets because it keeps it really simple. So then I'll say like Sarah Thompson, she tagged 2 friends, that's 2 entries, and she shared to her stories, so that's 3 entries. And I try and do a little tally each day because remember, stories disappear after 24 hours. So if you can keep on top of that, it's only 7 to 14 days that you're running this. And remember, this is going to be really beneficial to your business. So don't forget to track it each day as you are going through the process. So make sure you have allowed sort of 10 minutes a day for that process. Otherwise, it'll become really difficult at the end because you're like, I don't know who shared it to their stories and I don't know who did this. Now, the other thing that you can do that will elevate your success during the competition is to send people little DMs who have entered the competition. And the DM can be a voice message. I really like voice DMs because they're really personal. Or you can have a little copy and paste text to say, hey, Sarah, thank you for entering my competition. Just a reminder, it's drawn this Friday, and I'll tag the winner on my socials. And if you'd like to enter again, don't forget, every time you tag a friend, it's another entry. And then you just write, good luck, Sarah. And so that is a really nice way to start engaging with people who you know are interested in your products and services. And that is the start of a new relationship or a new lead with a customer. Now, I know that sounds really simple, but I think one of the things that people don't understand when it comes to selling on social media is that there are no really complex strategies. Most of it is simple, but most of it takes work. And I want you to understand that using competitions is a very simple selling strategy, but it does take work to administer it. It does take work and effort to manage it and to ensure it is successful. But it will really help us down the track because we're bringing in new people into our world who are generally interested in our business, all right? And that is what we're really looking for, is to attract more people into our space that we hope are going to want to buy from us, okay? Really, really simple. Now, remember, don't be afraid to share it on your stories and to keep that energy really high. I would share it every day on my stories. So keep that in mind that you want to keep the energy high. sending those DMs also goes, oh yeah, I do really want to win that prize. I will tag another friend. I will do that. And you're inspiring people to take more action. Okay, so don't be afraid to do that really regularly throughout your competition period. We want people to enter your competition. We want them to, to win. And with that in mind, we want to kind of keep people reminding like, hey, you just need to tag a friend, you get another entry. There's only 8 entries at the moment. Like when I ran a competition a little while ago, I said to people, I ran it during April 2024, and I ran a competition to give away a VIP day for someone who left a review for my podcast. So to leave a review, you have to have listened to the podcast because the platforms don't let you leave a review if you haven't listened to it, which is great for my listening stats. It also means that I get more reviews, which are great on my socials, great, social proof that my podcast is good. So it's all really, really good. But during April, my podcast hit 100 episodes and I wanted it to perform really well. I wanted it to go really high in the charts in terms of how it's performing. And so that was a very strategic way to give away a VIP day for people who are interested in my podcast. So that was a really fun competition, and the strategy wasn't around necessarily getting new customers. It was about promoting my podcast and helping it perform really, really well. Now, I want to wrap this up because I really am excited to have you come and check out the competition on my Insta today. I'd love for you to come and have a look at it. I'll make sure I've got it pinned to my post so you can have a check. But I'm going to give one person and their friend a chance to win and join the live round of Sell with Socials. You also get live access to my course, Sell with Socials. So the prize is valued at $990. So if you're keen, come and check it out. But I want to share with you, how did I sell through competition? So you're all probably wondering, how do we sell? How do we make money? Well, first of all, we have to start that relationship. So starting DMing people, sending them messages is a great way to open that door. And then at the end of the competition, you can send them a DM with an offer to buy whatever it was the price, so if they didn't win. Now, here's what I want to share with you. After my VIP day competition, that was for my podcast reviews, I sold 6 VIP days. So off the back of DMing people through Instagram after the competition. And the clincher of that is none of them won. So it performed incredibly well. And as you can see, that brought over $10,000 into my business from a competition that was not about generating money. It was all about improving the performance of my podcast. Now, if this is something you haven't tried or heard of, I want you to know that in Sell with Socials, we go into this in a great amount of details. And we talk about how do we do DMs, how do we run competitions, all of those kind of things. So I sincerely hope that today I have given you enough ideas to help you get started and to run a competition. Please don't rush off and run one now if that is not part of your strategy that you're looking for. Please keep in mind that ideally you want to run one pre a launch or pre a promotion or pre a special day because they work really well. And to add it into part of your strategy. So any of you that have done my goal setting, whether it's my mid-year or end-of-year goal setting, you know that I always talk about competitions and placing them strategically to improve the performance of your other marketing activities. So I hope today you've learned lots, you've taken lots of notes and have lots and lots of ideas to help you run a fantastic competition that will be successful for your Insta profile, for your business, and to bring new leads into your business. Now, if this sounds exciting, make sure you head over to my Instagram. It's Online Social Butterfly. Check out the competition that's going to be on there. It's going to be running for a week. And make sure you enter, and I will hope to connect with all of you. If you do enter, please do a little shout out and DM to me and say, hey, Sarah, I listened to your podcast. I'm really excited for the competition. And do share with me because my podcast is really important to me. I love sharing value with you all. I love giving you lots of free information to help support you and to help you grow your business. You never need to be a paying customer of mine to get lots of value from my podcast. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope you're inspired to go and do something. If you are, head over to my DMs, or head over to my Insta and send me a DM. But remember, I'll catch you the same time as always on the Social Circus. Thank you so much for tuning in to me. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Social Circus. As your host, Sarah Thompson, I am thrilled that you've chosen to spend your time hanging out with me. I would be so grateful if you could spare an extra moment to go and leave me a review on your favorite podcasting platform. And if you even felt more excited, you could share my podcast with your friends who you think would get great value from it. Thanks so much again for tuning in.